Here we go. So I've got that up. I just don't have everything else that I had intended to have up and running yet because this is how I roll, apparently. Even when I try and have things more pulled together than this still ends up being ultimately the way in which I roll. How's everybody doing tonight? Doing pretty well, I hope. The idea behind the topic is that I actually had to be reminded that most TV shows are starting up their new seasons, which I always forget because I get almost everything through streaming, and most things I'm more than happy to wait a few months until the thing's over to just binge it all later. So like I'm not caught up on anything, and there's very few things that I'm going to catch as they air. That said, I am going to try and keep pace with The Good Place, which is, I mean, that's the big one that's going on this season of television that I have much interest in, and of course it's the last season, which I'm sad about, but also is probably smart. It's not really a concept for a show that was going to sustain itself into oblivion. So, you know, I think it's good to figure out where to end and just go ahead and do that. So, okay, now I've got the chat up and running. Hey! Hey there, Kara. How was my day? I'm having some repeat frustration versus, or not versus, but like similar to stuff that I've already had to deal with in the past, because the company that I work for changed insurance plans again. I'm going to tip that back up slightly because I am nitpicky. And they did this last year too. So last year it disrupted my prescription refills, and it's doing it again. So I'm a little frustrated myself overall, but you know, standard day for the most part. Supernatural is finally ending. Yeah, I heard. That is one of those shows I never got into. So, is anyone here outside the U.S.? Oh yeah, world of movies. You'll find quite a few folks outside the U.S. kicking around. Let's see. You've got the iconic American green lamp. I see. Is that an American thing? That was my grandfather's lamp, for the record. Just rewatched Dark Crystal in your review. Ready for Age of Resistance. Age of Resistance is great. I really do like that. I'm keeping an eye out for when the another season gets announced, because God, I hope they get to do more. Like, I'm not taking it as a given because I have no doubt that thing was expensive. I feel your pain. Our dental got jerked around last year. Yeah, Carolyn. Like this stuff it never goes as smoothly as it should. Second day of autumn, which living in the South means nothing. Well, around here it means the leaves are turning, which is really nice for the few weeks until we hit peak, and then about a week after peak foliage, it'll all just drop to the ground, and we'll have brown leaves all over the ground and twigs in the air until the snow hits. So, you can decide for yourself if that's better. I've been learning the Doctor Who TTRPG, tabletop role-playing game. It's been fun creating my one-shot, which is easy to learn. Very cool. Somebody from England. Folks sharing their countries of origin if they're outside the U.S. 100-degree weather. Yeah, you can keep that. I have no particular interest in that. Snow, what's that like? Snow is lovely until about midway through January, and by the time February starts, I'm done with it. I'm over it. It's really nice during the holidays. Like, it's nice and festive. A white Christmas, it's kind of nice. I do dig it. But I don't ski. I don't snowmobile. I don't do winter snow activities, that are like major commitments. So, come February, I'm done with the snow. But snow can around here can hang around until April, usually with one errant snowfall in May. Thank you very much, Amanda. Weekly chip in sent with gratitude for your work. Thank you very so much. Very so much. What the heck was that? Yeah. I can speak. What's your favorite spin-off from any show? My money is on Angel or maybe Legends of Tomorrow. Those would definitely be hot contenders. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would consider to be a really top-notch spin-off. Frasier was really good. That's just kind of off the top of my head. At this point, I mean, it is Angel battling with Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, I definitely consider Legends of Tomorrow to be the best CW DC show, period. So that's easily better than the rest of it. And I do tend to think Angel is better than Buffy, personally. Which of those two I would rank highest? I'm probably going to have to wait until Legends of Tomorrow ends before I can answer that, which is something that I hope does not happen for a very long time. Because unlike The Good Place, which should have an endpoint, Legends of Tomorrow is something that could continue into infinity. And I would like it to. It won't, but I'd like it to. What you got there? I have water. That's the official story, and I am sticking to it. Do you have any advice on recording your voice? Yeah, don't skimp on the equipment. I mean, that's seriously the best advice that I can give you. Editing software, especially audio editing software, there's plenty of free stuff, so you don't even have to worry about that. But you need a decent mic. And, you need whatever you have the mic plugged into, that you can, you can work around that, even if you're like just plugging it into your phone, depending if you have a phone with that, with that kind of jack, but what have you. But like, be prepared to spend over $100 on a mic, because short of that, you're going to be able to tell and hear that it's not the best quality. And I don't have the best mic in the world either. Let me be absolutely clear on that. But when I first started shooting videos, I went for a cut rate camera and the best mic that I knew I could handle. Because things much better than what I got, which I still use, would have sort of entered into a territory that somebody more knowledgeable could have done something with it, but me, it would have been just throwing money away. Have you ever watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? Yes! My partner and I, we actually watched that together, which means we're working through it very slowly because we're not always in the mood for it. But we are into season 2 and enjoying it quite a bit. Favorite Harry Potter costume? Huh. You mean like within the film series, or like done as a cosplay? Because I always get a kick out of seeing Luna or Hagrid done as a cosplay. Within the confines of the films themselves, I don't know. I think the redesigns on the Death Eaters for Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix were quite neat. I like those quite a bit. To clarify, I meant getting used to your own voice on camera. Practice. I mean, like, I don't really know what advice to give for someone who's like, how do you get comfortable in front of a camera? Because I always was. Like, I'm a bit of a performer by nature. I did theater. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. I did theater in high school and into college. I'm used to just speaking, and it's something that comes very naturally to me. So when people try, ask me, how do you get comfortable? I'm like, I have narcissistic and exhibitionistic tendencies. So like, I like an audience, and I'm used to presuming that I have one. Might be a little quieter this stream, feeling tired. Oh, well, that's okay, Kane. You know, whatever keeps you going. Don't worry about it. Can you tell me some positives about the twin dilemma? I want to watch it, but I can't bring myself to do it, so need some motivation as I've heard about its negative reputation. I mean, here's the thing. If you've heard all the bad stuff said about it, it's not as bad as all that stuff would lead you to believe. It's not good, but, you know, for all the stuff people say about it, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I don't have any particular positives to say about it. That Slytherin schoolgirl outfit is awfully cute. Ooh. Carowin, you devious. Let me see. Let me back up here. Remember last week when I said me and my friend were going to watch Children of Earth? Well, we did last week. I think she's going to pick what we watch next time. I think if she sat through Children of Earth and came out the other side of it, she has earned that right. Don't even argue with her. Did you ever plan to visit Brazil someday? A big shout out from your Brazilian fan here. Oh, thank you so much. Like, I don't have any plans. Like, I don't have any big exotic travel plans in my life right now. Just because, like, between time and money, it's just not in the cards for me. Like, I'm barely going to be able to make it out just to LA for Gallifrey 1 in February. So, Brazil, the very idea is incredibly intimidating. Very cool, but very intimidating. Hang on, let me back up. Sorry, I'm losing track of the thing. I'm trying to keep up with the questions as best I can, but boy, things really zip by these days. What's your favorite show that nobody has probably seen? I mean, my favorite show that not many people remember is the MTV animated version of The Max, which might honestly be my favorite complete piece of television ever. I love that thing to absolute death, and I think it's amazing. But it's not something that has ever gotten much of a second life. You know, it re-aired a little in the mid-90s, but it never got another season. It didn't get any kind of follow-up the way something like Aeon Flux did. So it hasn't had much of an afterlife after that original airing. So unless you were there, which I was, most people haven't seen it and don't know it. Fan of the show Black Books. I have not seen that one, so I could not tell you. My favorite show is Dark Shadows. That's one. I have a fair number of friends who either got into or have gotten into Dark Shadows. That's one I've never had the chance to give a shot to. I don't know if Call the Midwife is a show you'd be into, but as recent seasons take place in the 60s. I think my mother watches Call the Midwife. I think so. Are you into the fan productions about Doctor Who, like fan series, audio dramas, comics, novels, and so on? Like, I have a base level awareness of them. I've seen a couple. Like, I mostly fan film stuff, and I've been very impressed with the production value that some of these things are able to pull off. I don't like massively follow them, and it's not something I generally seek out. Not because I don't find it interesting, just because, you know, only so many hours in the day, and that's just not where I tend to allocate my time. And also, you know, I have the dream in my head of a fan film, and like, it would be crazy short. Like, in my mind, I have something very specific in mind. It would be about a minute, and it would be super self-indulgent on my part. But, like, I think about that, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. And then I'm like, oh, I really would need to get somebody who could do effects worth a darn, and I would need to be able to either build or fake a TARDIS interior, and then my brain just kind of falls out, just even thinking about that. So fan films are one of those things that, like, I enjoy, but I watch, and then it gets me wanting to do that, which is kind of dangerous for me, because I've got enough things in the fire, whatever the phrase is, as it stands, so I don't need more pet projects. You said you watched Flash for the first 2 seasons. What did you think of their take on Reverse Flash? I thought it was fine. I mean, I liked him in season 1 best, being played by, I can't remember the actor's name. But then, you know, later on when he came back for season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow, it was a different actor, and I know why. I understand the logistics of why they did that and everything. But I like the guy who played it in season 1 better than the other guy. The other guy was fine, and I can't remember anybody's name. So if you haven't watched these shows, you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But you know, there you go. What music do you enjoy? Any guilty pleasures? Okay, those are both drink questions, and you knew that. Ugh. Devious, I'll take it. Thought you might. Thank you very much, Lucas. Much appreciated. All right, let me see if I can do something vaguely close to catching up. What do you think about Jonah Hill in The Batman as a villain? New rumor. I saw the rumor. Until I know what part he's playing, I have no opinion. And until I know what part he's supposedly playing, I have absolutely no opinion. And even after I hear that, I only have a tiny opinion until it's confirmed. So, do you think you might do a list ranking of the regeneration stories? Oh yeah, that'll happen eventually. It's on the docket, and it's been an option because I put the list topics up for a vote on the Patreon page, and that one has been offered up a few times, but the Patreon supporters have opted for other lists, so it'll get done eventually. Like, I have tons of lists, tons of list ideas, either ones to revisit that I've done before and need updating, or whole new ones. But you know, I try not to do more than one list a month, and that gets ultimately decided by the folks over on Patreon. So if you want a voice in that, that's where you can go. I am shameless, and yet still ashamed. That doesn't work. Oh, Tracy, thank you. Is there a show that does not have a spinoff that you would like to see? And what would the spinoff be about? First thing off the top of my head, as much as I was really done with the Netflix Marvel shows, to the point that I actually still haven't watched Jessica Jones season 3 past the first episode, I genuinely would have liked to see them take a crack at Daughters of the Dragon and pair up Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. I would have been down for that. If they moved away from the grimdark vibe and went for the fun exploitation era of films vibe that their comics have when those two have been paired up. So that's the big one off the top of my head. Sorry, trying to... Guys are so... I can't remember more drink questions. You all want to help? You're dangerous. You are. Do you plan to watch Torchwood Miracle Day? Will you ever watch it? Have you seen Class? Greetings from Poland. I've always kind of figured that Torchwood Miracle Day and Class they just kind of fall into the... Eventually, someday, I'm sure I will, but like I have never prioritized those above other stuff that I have to do. So, like, I probably will, but like I have no idea when I'll get to that. Are there any cliches in TV or movie shows that you're sick of? More than I could actually probably think of at a go. Examples: the heroes arguing split up before the final battle, only to get back together again. Yeah, there's stuff like that. Like my big recurring one is always unnecessary romantic relationships, and I'm also someone who feels that about 90% of romantic relationships are unnecessary in most media. They can work sometimes. There's actually been more stuff in the shows that I like where I've been seeing it work, which is surprising to me. But I don't. So I don't know if I'm just watching the right shows or if the writers and show producers are finally getting smarter and not just doing it because, oh well, there's supposed to be a love story. There doesn't have to be. Not all stories need that. So that's always the main one that I beat the drum on that I'm absolutely sick of. But broadly speaking, oh, prophecy. If I never hear the word prophecy again in a fantasy story, it'll be too soon. I'm so sick of that. Never want to hear that one again. Like, even subverting it, I'm so done with prophecies. Did you know the musical Chorus Line is being adapted into a Netflix series? A series? Not like just not just a one-off, but like a series out of Chorus Line? I mean, I guess you could, given the format of the show, but like I'm not sure that's gonna sustain a series. That's an odd pick, that is. Oh, come on. Thank you very much, Matt. Greatly appreciated. New fan would give more, but I have a bun in the oven on the way. Best of luck on that, because that is a thrill ride and a roller coaster. So cheers. Mine turned 8 not too long ago, so it's a ride. Got a call from the same Washington, D.C. number twice in almost 2 hours. Wrong number, or have I done something? I mean, these days, I don't know. Could be both. Okay. Has anyone watched Tall Girl on Netflix? The premise did not thrill me. I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, I wanted to find a reason that it didn't look awful, but I couldn't find it. What's the worst 3 movies you've ever seen? Oh, jeez. Now, please, here's the thing. I'm not going to try and name, like, the worst made 3 movies I've ever seen. Because I actually actively avoid stuff that I think is just going to be badly made, because I don't go in for the so bad it's good thing, as a rule of thumb. So these are just going to be movies that I think are bad and I vehemently hate. So if I'm trying to think of 3, first one off the top of my head, first movie that I ever remember hating, not just disliking, but hating, was Dead Man, Jim Jarmusch film. Oh God, do I hate that movie. Holy crap. And it's not even that absolutely everything in it is terrible. There's like one good character and story thread, but somehow that makes it worse. That there's one good thing in this sea of self-indulgent garbage. I don't actually hate it, and it does have so bad it's good qualities, but you know what's really bad? Have you ever seen the animated film Fire and Ice? Wow, it's bad. That one's a special kind of amazing bad. And I guess to round it out, just to sort of make my point that how I usually don't go for so bad it's good. Like, one of the quintessential so bad it's good movies is Robot Monster, which I watched, and I'm like, I did not have fun watching this, and it is absolutely awful. Is there such a thing as a flawless Doctor Who story? I mean, it depends on how you're measuring it. If you're trying to look at it like a narrative puzzle, probably there might be a Doctor Who story that either has no plot holes or no plot holes that could not somehow be explained by the very nature of the Doctor being a time traveler. But, I mean, if you're asking me if there's a perfect, pristine, everyone will love it, well, no, because there's always going to be stuff that comes down to personal preference. For my part, I put City of Death and Heaven Sent right up there. Now, I haven't rewatched Heaven Sent in a while, so and I'm not saying that to say that like my confidence in it has been shaken, but as I've been doing my rewatch for Doctor Who, I am getting more of a sense of how my memory of something either is giving it too much credit or not enough, or maybe maybe I should have hated it more than I did in a few cases, which that's a weird experience. Kind of excited about the Lin-Manuel Miranda's adaptation of In the Heights. Oh, I forgot about that. I did hear about that at some point. So let's see. Before Series 8, Charles Dance was rumored to play the Master. He would have been good, but I actually think he's got too much presence. Littlefinger's actor would have been my choice. Well, okay, so Series 8, well, it would have been him facing off against Capaldi. I might have agreed with you with some doctors. I think Capaldi could have gone toe-to-toe with Dance. That said, I do love Missy, so I'm not sorry that that didn't happen if it was ever in consideration. And also, as much as I like Charles Dance, especially at that point in time where like everybody knows him as Tywin Lannister, it almost feels like too obvious a choice, if that makes sense. Oh, Tick Tick Boom. Oh yeah, I did hear about Tick Tick Boom, which that'll be interesting. I will be curious to see if they have the guts to rework that, because Tick Tick Boom as it exists is basically Rent, the beta version, and it's not as well worked out. There's some stuff in it that doesn't really go anywhere. There's some songs that aren't very good, but there is some great individual bits of it. You know, the way that it opens is terrific, and I really love the song Boho Days. I like that one a lot. So what Batman villain do you think would be ideal for Pattinson's movie? I want the Riddler so bad to be there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the rumor is, or the rumor has been for a while, that there's going to be a lot of them. I think it's in their best interest to veer away from anyone who has been in the stuff recently. So I would nudge them towards somebody that either hasn't been in the movies at all or hasn't been in the movies for a long time. Riddler would be a solid pick. I'd like to see Penguin there, but not as the lead villain. I actually think Penguin works best when he's just sort of a background feature. You have the Penguin instead of the local mob. So I wouldn't actually make him the main focus, though. But if they're gonna play up the detective end, which is the word, unconfirmed, if they're gonna play up the detective element a bit more, then the Riddler is kind of the ideal pick. Let's see. Sorry. Can I get a quick Joker impression? Any Joker. Oh dear. Oh, like if as far as doing an actual impression as opposed to just doing the Joker laugh, the only one I can really do much of an impression. I mean, I can kind of do Heath Ledger. The only one I can do much of an impersonation of is the Mark Hamill. Let me see if I can pull a line. Okay, so I'm probably going to end up pulling a line from Return of the Joker, which I love. It's the new boy. Ears are too long, and I miss the cape, but not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I love Fire and Ice. Like I said, there's entertainment to be had in that film, but man, it's bad. Holy cow. So Bad It's Good, the Super Mario Brothers movie. I have not rewatched that thing in ages. This dang... I wish I could get this thing to behave in a way that makes sense to me. I seem to not be able to. Is it sad that I only know Charles Dance as the Phantom of the Opera? When was Charles Dance Phantom of the Opera? How is this news to me? What's your favorite time travel paradox that's explored in media? Grandfather paradox, bootstrap paradox. I don't know enough of the paradoxes by name. I mean, I've always just been partial to just what I consider to be the circular model of time, which I don't even necessarily consider to be a paradox. It's just stories that basically look at time as this rather than this. So 12 Monkeys is kind of the good go-to example for that. But off the top of my head, I don't know enough of the names for different paradoxes and thought experiments to just sort of rattle them off. Does anyone know Charles Dance from Ali G in the house? Oh, God. Ugh, poor man. No. Although, you want to know a movie I saw Charles Dance in that I keep remembering and for some reason it won't clear from my head? Space Truckers. That is real. It is not bad enough to be worth seeking out, and it's not good enough to see on its own merits, but oh boy. That was a thing, and I did see it. He played the Phantom in a TV movie that was made in 1990 with Burt Lancaster. All right. Is Trial of a Time Lord good? I don't know. I still haven't seen that one. Last Action Hero. I haven't rewatched that one in a while either. Hold on. I'm just... Oh, boy. You guys are so active. I love it, but it is hard for me to keep up. Return of the Joker is my fave. Met Will Friedle at the Fan Expo in Boston this year. Very cool. Still at the Pattinson Batman movie subject. Who would you cast as the Riddler? Oh, I have no idea. I'm a horrible person to ask for dream casting. I'm not good at getting my head into that space. I'm not a good person to engage in that. Like when the few times I've done it, like when I did it with actors who might be able to play Doctor Who, like that took me a frustratingly long time, like to force myself to engage in that exercise. My brain does not lend itself to that sort of thing. Why are you ignoring me? I'm not ignoring you, man. I'm trying to keep up with what's going on. There's a lot of stuff whizzing past me. If you think I'm reading every single thing, you're nuts. I'm doing my best here. Haven't we had this back and forth before? I feel like I've had this conversation before. Maybe it was with someone else, but I don't know, man. I'm not trying to ignore anyone. Grandfather paradox is where you kill your grandfather and you're never born. Bootstrap is a cycle with no clear beginning. Doctor Who wrote Beethoven's Fifth. Well, yeah, I mean, the bootstrap paradox I remember because Capaldi has his monologue on it. Oh my God, I didn't remember Dance was in Last Action Hero. Ignore Council of Geeks and hunt down Space Truckers. I mean, if you've got a nose for, I think it was late 90s cheese, I mean, go ahead. Hello, I just shot somebody and I didn't do it on purpose. Well, regardless of the reason, I would call the authorities. Would you take Tim Curry as the Master in some form? Well, I mean, at this point, he's very much retired. But at a previous point, like 90s, I would have taken him over John Sim, certainly. Have you seen the Clever Dick film reviews of Doctor Who? It's very good in-depth analysis of the history of Doctor Who. I have not seen that. What would be your nightmare worst possible TARDIS team? I guess, well, I don't even have to think that hard. Mel and the Sixth Doctor. TV era Sixth Doctor. Sixth Doctor's only good in audio, so that's already a thing that exists. Ugh. I watched all 155 Doctor Who episodes. Congratulations! Hope you felt it was worth it. I usually do. Weird selections, but have you seen my 3 favorite shows? American Horror Story? Yes, but not all of it. I've only seen through season 5, I think. I've missed the last few seasons of that. Series of Unfortunate Events. I did 3 episodes. It was good, but it wasn't hooking me, so I moved on. The League of Gentlemen. Never watched that one. Oh my God, the chat is really not cooperating with me. What about the whole situation of Matt Smith casting and The Rise of Skywalker? Do you think he's actually going to be in that movie? No, I don't. I'm pretty sure he was cast in a part that was cut. It's happened before. He was originally in Bruges in a flashback sequence. It was before he was Doctor Who, but still. Dude's been cut from movies before. Have you seen Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency? First of all, which version? Second of all, it doesn't matter. I haven't seen any of them. I've only ever read the books. Do you think 11th Doctor and Donna Noble would be a good combo? Maybe. I mean, I would happily put Donna with literally anybody. But I'd be more interested in putting her with 12 than 11, personally. And also, like, Amy and Rory are so good with 11. Clara and 10 would be my least favorite. Oh, yeah. I could see that not working. Angie and Artie in the 13th Doctor. Oh, God. Angie and Artie. Oh. Oh. Cursed names. God. Forgot that they technically made my criteria when I did the overall list. 9, Ryan and Mickey is my dream TARDIS team. Oh, that would be interesting. Oh, God's sake. Stop skipping past, you darn thing. Worst TARDIS team would be TV6 and Mel. Someone's going to love Trial of a Time Lord. Yeah, well, like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. Would you ever consider doing a best and worst Xena episodes, season videos to discuss now, if you like? I've only ever seen like a couple of episodes of Xena, so I would have to carve out time to watch the entire series. And I don't have the time. Someday maybe. Let me see here. No. I haven't gotten into American Horror Story. My daughter quite likes it. It's an acquired taste. It's a weird sort of vibe, and it also varies from season to season. First Doctor and Rory Williams as a good team up or a bad one? Because I don't know. I mean, I like Rory, but like doing Rory without Amy, first of all, strikes me as a bit of an odd thing to do. Might seem random, but what is your favorite story from each Doctor? Keeping in mind that I still have a lot of holes in my classic Who knowledge, so there's a lot of stuff I still haven't seen yet. See if I can get this in order. Dalek Invasion of Earth, Tombs of the Cybermen, Time Warrior, City of Death, Caves of Androzani, Vengeance on Varos by Default, Remembrance of the Daleks, Night of the Doctor for 8th. We'll skip the movie. I guess Day of the Doctor for the War Doctor. Empty Child, Doctor Dances for 9. I really go back and forth between the Library 2-parter and Midnight for 10. Tonight I'm going to say the Library 2-parter. 11, I don't know. I'm in the middle of reassessing that because I'm in the middle of the rewatch on that. Historically, it's been 11th Hour. I'm not sure if that'll stay the same. 12, it's heaven sent. 13, it takes you away. And that's as of tonight. So don't, like, when I answer this question again, next time it gets asked, don't be like, but before you say, yeah, no, this is all fluid. My opinions change, my feelings change, my assessments change. Charlie Pollard needs to be on the show. She's such a good character. Yeah, she's pretty good. Regardless of the quality of stories, do you feel that Series 11 succeeded at being a good starting point for new fans? Yeah, about as well as Series 1 or Series 5 or Series 10 were. Yeah, sure. Can you give us a sneak peek of Vampires of Venice? I could, but I'm not going to take the time to go all the way over there and get my vampire teeth out. So you'll have to forgive me for that. Am I the only Whovie on Earth who wasn't a fan of the 11th Hour? No, you probably aren't the only one. I do think you are in a minority, though. Do you think you want to be a they pronoun? I don't have strong opinions on my pronouns, so I don't want to be anything. I just don't. The only thing I want is for people not to wield pronouns as a weapon at me, not to mock me with them, or not to deliberately use pronouns in contradiction to how I'm presenting. So, in order to be jerks, which some people will do. So, failing that, I'm not going to rule it out ever favoring they pronouns. I never request them. I'm perfectly comfortable with people using them to describe me, and certainly it works because it means you don't have to flip back and forth between he and she depending on how I'm presenting at any given time. So it certainly works, and I have no problem with other people using they pronouns to describe me or refer to me, but I'll never request them just because it doesn't... I know it's awkward for a lot of people to use a lot of the time, and nothing about being referred to as they does anything for me any more than he or she would. So knowing that it's a stumble point for some people, yeah, no, it's not something I'm likely to ever request. Hi from Australia. Hey there, Ben. Benjamin. Sorry, I shouldn't shorten people's names unless they've told me that's what they like. That's one of my own pet peeves, so I should know better. Would you like to see Eric Roberts be back as a master in the show? I don't know. I need to listen to the big finish that he came back on. See how he did with that, because as it stands, based off his performance in the TV movie, no. Sorry, just backing up. Sorry, I'm also trying to keep an eye out for Joel, my thumbnail guy. He said he might pop in. Have you ever discussed your gender with your daughter? Not really, but because I haven't really had to. I've never sat down to have a conversation about my gender with my daughter because she just knows that I look different at different times, and I have this, that I wear nail polish, and I sometimes wear dangly earrings, and I dye my hair, and she'll pick out nail polish colors for me sometimes, and she's seen me in a full femme look. She's unfazed by it because for her that's her normal. So no, as yet I haven't sat down and had a conversation with her about it. If she ever has questions, I hope she'll be comfortable enough to ask me. I'll be happy to talk to her about it. But as it stands, she's very unfazed by this. In terms of gender, etc., how has work been the past few weeks? Well, I'm sure there are people at my job who are not thrilled because I've stopped taking off nail polish to go to work. And I've started wearing, not this ring, but a rainbow ring that I picked up at Vermont Pride to work. I've had one person comment on the nails and nobody's commented on the ring. And you know, it's one of those things where no comments are basically like, you people are not comfortable, are you? I am out of craps to give. My name is Michael, so I always go by Mike. Oh, okay, cool. Joel was here toward the beginning. He may have stepped out. Ah, that's a bummer. I might have missed him. Yes, thank you for the reminder, Carolyn. I do need to check the Discord. Sorry, folks. Hang on. I got to see what is going on here. All right. So as a reminder, the Discord is a Patreon exclusive perk. And I do have a sort of a live stream prep where people can ask questions that I will absolutely get to, as opposed to the chat here, where if it's not a super chat, it's a bit of a dice roll whether I see it and answer it or not. Anyways, let's see. I'm so hyped for his Dark Materials on the BBC and HBO adaptation of Bill Pullman's book series. Also happy to see Chicago Med and Law and Order SVU back. I keep forgetting SVU's still on because I remember the big deal when they canceled the main series. Chicago Med I've never seen. I might check out his Dark Materials. I never read the books. They seemed somewhat interesting to me, but not like, they never made me go like, ooh, need that. So I might see it, an episode or two, see what I think about it. I actually have a show that I like that I'm fine with it ending. Find that it ended this year. Orange is the New Black. I felt it ended more or less at the right time. It could just as well have ended earlier, but it didn't run for so long that I felt it overstayed its welcome. We're actually going to disagree on that because I watched the first 2 seasons. First season I didn't enjoy. Second season I did, but then speaking with my partner Liz, who has kept up with the show, she and other people said as well, second season is the best season. I'm like, cool, I don't need to watch more then. So that's a show that I got my own taste of. But I'm glad you got enjoyment out of the seasons you got. That's what's important. The Good Place's final season is days away. So much joy and sadness at the same time. It's crazy. Yeah, it is. That is a great show. I actually don't watch many shows regularly anymore. Yeah, you and me both. I did already binge watch the new season of 13 Reasons Why. Yeah, that one I haven't seen. Any thoughts on Sam Esmail, who made Mr. Robot, doing a new Battlestar Galactica show on NBC's streaming service Peacock that won't be a reboot? Not really, because I still haven't seen Battlestar Galactica. So whether or not, his claim is that it's a story that fits within the mythology and of the existing Battlestar material, and isn't a reboot, which I mean is probably good because it's so well liked. That's probably a better way to go. But I don't really have an opinion because I still haven't seen Battlestar. I just remembered that I actually do have a TV show I was waiting for. It debuts tonight, and that is This Is Us. Yep, don't know that one either. I'm excited as all get out for the return of Arrowverse in a couple of weeks. I am actually still catching up on the previous season of Legends of Tomorrow. So, but I do love the heck out of that show. Did you hear about Eccleston saying he thinks Billie Piper should have been the first female Doctor? I didn't hear that, but funnily enough, she would get rumored. I remember she got rumored when Tennant was leaving, that she was going to be the next Doctor, and then she got rumored again when Smith was leaving. So he's not the first one to float the idea. I don't think she's ever been in consideration, but like the whenever the bookies take bets, her name has usually come up. Your views on Game of Thrones winning Best Drama at the Emmys? It was a merit award. It was a grandfathered in. That's the kind of win that got decided a long time ago was going to happen because it was the last season, as opposed to being based on how the last season actually was. Because no, that last season did not deserve any awards. Technical awards, maybe. Cinematography, special effects. Nothing for writing. Nothing for best whatever. Nothing for acting. No. So, I don't care enough about the Emmys to get upset about that, but, you know, it's wrong. Let's see here. How are we doing for time? Got about 10 minutes left. Ah! Why is this chat hate me so much? You've done a video of favorite doctors in order. Will you do arguable best doctors in order? Example, my favorite is the 11th, but I think 4th is the arguable best. Probably not, because I wouldn't trust myself to come up with a criteria to judge that by for the entire thing. Like, I think that's easy enough to do with your top. So, like, I think it's easy enough to distinguish between favorite and who might actually be the best for, like, the top spot, but actually ranking the whole thing in that fashion, no, I don't think I'd actually be able to do that. I'm not sure I'd enjoy it if I tried. Any shows you're waiting for to end so you'll start to binge it? No, because if something has ended by the time before I get started on it, I almost never get around to it. So no, not really. You have the Cards Against Humanity set behind you every video. Do you play? I do. I haven't in a while, but yeah, I've played. Let's see. Favorite is easy. Best is subjective. I mean, like, if you're going to try and rank something as best outside of your own personal preferences, you have to come up with defendable criteria. Which, again, that's not my idea of fun. We need Trickster back on the show. I still don't think the Trickster would actually slot into the main show very well. I stand by that. You said Game of Thrones Season 8 didn't deserve an Emmy for Best Acting as well as writing. Were there any performances you took issue with? Not really, but the writing was so bad that the acting got kneecapped. You know, when you're given a bad script with characters making stupid decisions or going in directions that don't make sense, there's only so much even the best actors in the world can do. And that's basically what you're looking at with Game of Thrones Season 8. The acting wasn't bad, but the writing was so bad that good acting couldn't save it. Did you hear about Pelosi moving forward with an impeachment investigation? I did hear, and I have no other comment. Favorite Star Wars film? A New Hope. Do you like any of the Studio Ghibli? Do I like any of the Studio Ghibli films? Totoro? No Face. Yes, I like Studio Ghibli. Where's the 12th Doctor screwdriver at? Oh, it's right here. I gotta change the batteries in it, but yeah. That's barely got anything left. But it's right there. It's right up there with the rest. Favorite Skeksis? Chamberlain. Oh, all the way. Skeksis is friend to Gelfling. Would you say it's odd that I'm a cis male but feel very comfortable having a feminine nickname, Gina? I don't think it's odd. There probably are people who do. I think that's neat. What about Trickster teaming up with some other villains that were defeated by the Doctor? Trickster Slithy. I mean, like, we've seen that already. Sort of. I mean, more or less, because with the Pandorica Opens, they, like, every one of them teamed up. I don't, like, the Trickster was just designed to be the villain in what is very much a younger kid's show, and everything about him reflects that. He was good for his use. I just don't think he's gonna fly in the main show. I'm sorry. Like, I get that you love him, and that's awesome. I just don't think he'd work. And if they ever bring him in and he does work, I'll be very happy to see that. I love seeing things that I don't think will work, somehow making it work. That's amazing and wonderful, and I love it, but I don't think so. Chamberlain bother me so much on the first watch. See, I just love him as a character so much, and like I'm not going to count this as a spoiler because I'm going to quote it out of context, but just Chamberlain with that, he's got that line, and again, I'm not going to give context for this, but just you took my seat. Oh God, I love him. Are there any movies you recommend to take notes on for writing? At the moment, I'm most interested in horror and dark comedy, but I'll take any movie you recommend. So if you're gonna horror and dark comedy from a writing perspective, I mean, dark comedy, I'm always gonna recommend something like Four Lions, something that's dark because the very nature of the thing that it's about is dark, as opposed to it's dark because it's a standard comedy, but also some people die. Or another really good one is The World's Greatest Dad, which is a Robin Williams movie that is criminally underseen. That's a really good thing to sort of study, to see how comedy is pulled out of the darkness of the scenario. Because again, that to me is a proper dark comedy. Something that it just like has the vibe of a normal comedy, except some moments are gratuitously bleak. That's not a proper dark comedy. A dark comedy is finding humor in something that should never be funny, but they find a way to make it funny while still acknowledging that darkness. So, Four Lions, World's Greatest Dad. For horror, I'm not always the best to ask for horror because I've said in the past I'm more into horror adjacent. Like, it's part of why I really like Guillermo del Toro, because his movies are rarely straight up horror stories, but they're draped in the horror ephemera that I really like, you know, monsters and gothic imagery and severe lighting and all that sort of stuff. But I don't like horror narratives all that often. I mean, scariest movie to me, though, if you want to look at something structurally that is built and designed from the ground up to unnerve you at every step at an escalating scale, the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers. If you do not feel paranoid by the time that thing's over, I don't know what to tell you. Just wanted to say that you and a few other channels inspired me to start a channel. Oh, that's great, Jay. Gonna start posting in December. Just wanted to say how brilliant you are. Thanks. Well, thank you. Any issues with the original trilogy? What, the original Star Wars trilogy? No, but that's also because I'm nostalgia blind on that. I literally grew up watching those, so I'm never gonna. I really can't look at those objectively. I'm never gonna be able to. Do you think the Slitheen could return if they remove the farting? I mean, they could return regardless. I wouldn't want them to return unless they remove the farting. But, like, I like Boomtown better than the Slitheen two-parter. But a big part of that has to do with the way a returning Slitheen character played out. I don't like the species enough to do more with them. And at this point, that whole family is dead. So I don't think there's much to be gotten out of that. Am I the only one who thinks The Goblet of Fire, the book, not the film, is overrated? I heard people say it's the best. I think it's only because of the ending. I do think, actually, yeah, I do think Goblet of Fire, the book. Now, again, this is to my memory, because I haven't actually reread it in ages, so asterisk, grain of salt. I actually do agree with that. I do think it is a bit overrated. And I think partially because it's the turning point for the series. It's the point at which things got serious. And I think the impact of that turn, you know, leaves a very potent and very lasting impression that is not to be discarded. But the book overall, like, it was the one that I started reading and then put down and didn't pick up for about 3 months. I had a very hard time getting into it initially. I found the opening, all the stuff with the Quidditch World Cup and all that, just very unengaging and clunky. And at that point, like, I was done with all of these side things just to flesh out the world of the Wizards. I felt like I knew it pretty well, so that didn't interest me very much. And then at the tail end, Voldemort goes on forever. Forever. Book Voldemort, one of the all-time worst monologuers in the history of villainy. So, like, there are some issues that I have with the book version. Saving my watch of Invasion of the Body Snatchers for October and Halloween. Can't wait for Nightmares. Have fun with that. What is better in Star Wars prequels? I mean, the only one of the prequels I really like is Revenge of the Sith. Also, I have anxiety, and I go out at 4 a.m. to practice going outside without feeling anxious or sick. And I'll listen to your videos, and it will seriously help me. Thanks for being great. Oh, wow. Thank you, Jay. I'm touched and honored that that helps you. On the subject of the Goblet of Fire, how the hell do 6 Death Eaters win against thousands of wizards? Well, yeah, especially because later, you know what? I'm actually kind of okay with that because no one's expecting to see the Death Eaters, and I think it's just a panic ensues at the sight of them, and they're counting on that. You know, when there's actually an orchestrated defense against them, that they don't hold up too strongly. Oh, Channel Pup, super brief, dropping to say hi. I'll be catching up on this later. Sending my regards from Florida. I'll tune into one of these live streams again soon. Oh, well, thanks for stopping in. Sorry I missed tonight's stream. I've been incredibly busy with the show this evening. Hey, no worries, it happens. I am going to be wrapping it up soon. Let's see. Troll dealt with. Thank you very much, Carolyn. Nice work. Who's your favorite character in the eternity of American Horror Story? I like Madison Montgomery. I really like... It's been too long since I've seen the second season, but the possessed nun. I love her. I think she's great. So, yeah, quick question before those shows up. What's that on your shirt? That, my friends, that is Guy Smiley, America's favorite game show host. Muppety goodness. You're a saint, Carolyn. Yeah, she is. Sister Mary Eunice, thank you. That was her. She was great. What would it take for you to give Preacher or the Boys a chance despite your feelings about Garth Ennis? Same thing that it would take for me to give most things that I don't really have a lot of interest in seeing a chance. Somebody can pay me to watch it. I know that's a bit mercenary, but that's the simple truth. Do you think how Jeremiah in Gotham was performed would be a good fit for the Master? I mean, Jeremiah at what point? I mean, part of what I don't like about Jeremiah on that show, and I'm probably going to end on this note, a big part of what I didn't like about Jeremiah was they spent the entirety of his time just basically driving him crazy so that he was just like Jerome was. But why would you do that? We already had Jerome. But because of that, he's actually, I was going to say inconsistent. He's not, because he's on a clear trajectory. But when you say perform the Master like Jeremiah, like at what point? Depending what episode you're watching, he doesn't behave the same way. So you'd have to narrow it down. By and large, though, I'm probably just going to go, because I don't like that move that Gotham did. Is Gotham worth a watch? I enjoyed it. First season is not great. Last season, unfortunately, is not great. I would say that you can skip season 5, to be completely honest. Unless you're super invested, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not great. You do need to still see season 1 to have context for series 2, 3, and 4, which are amazing and the reason to watch the show. I only watched first of Gotham. Yeah, I mean, that's, if that's all you've seen, if you didn't find anything to like in the first season of Gotham, even though I would say it gets better after that, if like there was nothing that was pulling you in at all, it might flat out just not be for you. Michelle Gomez is awesome in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I've heard that, have not seen that show. So I am going to wrap it up there. I hope everybody has had a good night. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you have a good rest of the week. We actually stayed on topic this time. Pretty much kept it on TV. I am super proud of us. Way to go, everybody. But I am going to wrap it up there. So I just want you all to remember that you are beautiful. You are valid. You are loved. You are the council. I'm just running meetings. Have a good night.